Well, after months of congressional investigations, the community activist group ACORN is calling it quits. Straight ahead, I'll get reaction from one of the lawmakers who led the probe into ACORN's practices. And a police chase goes horribly wrong. The dash cam, whoa, capturing an impact so hard the camera is left swinging. The details on what happened next, upcoming.
These are actual farmers who raise vegetables in Campbell's condensed soup. So if you've ever wondered, who grew my soup? Well, here they are. So many reasons it's so good.
To stay on top of my game after 50, I switched to a complete multivitamin with more. Only one a day, Men's 50+ Advantage has ginkgo for memory and concentration, plus support for heart health. That's a great call.
One a day Men's.
Competition. It pushes us to work harder, to be better, to win. But sometimes, even rivals realize they share a common goal. America's beverage companies have removed full-calorie soft drinks from schools, reducing beverage calories by 88%. Together with schools, we're helping kids make more balanced choices every day.
Identity theft, a serious crime that strikes millions of Americans. When identity theft strikes you, it can seem like no one will listen and no one is there to help. But there is one place you can turn for real protection and real peace of mind. LifeLock. At LifeLock, our only business is helping protect your identity. LifeLock protects your information and never sells it. That's why LifeLock is the leader in identity theft protection.
A member called in and right away I could tell that it was going to be a serious conversation with just the simple tone of her voice.
This man had dreams of buying a home. He had found out that there had been 2 mortgages taken out in his name.
A member called LifeLock. She was crying very hard. I could barely understand her.
He didn't have the time or the money to take care of this problem, and LifeLock did it for him.
I was able to go ahead and resolve the situation, get her taken care of, and I had her joking and laughing by the end of the call.
It gives me a sense of satisfaction knowing that as a LifeLock member service agent, I can help them to be able to put their fears at rest and know that they can be protected.
LifeLock is proactive protection, working to help stop identity theft before it happens. LifeLock's exclusive identity alert system goes beyond just new credit, giving you much more than just credit monitoring. It's like having a digital fingerprint. If a new application doesn't match you, we send an alert and help fix it for you.
And the biggest difference is stopping it before it starts.
Don't wait another minute. Call now and immediately start enjoying the confidence, security, and peace of mind only LifeLock can offer. Call 1-800-927-4006 and mention Shredder to receive this special offer.
Real people, real protection, real peace of mind.
Don't wait until it's too late. Get your LifeLock protection started immediately. Call now.
Well, just a week from now, the community activist group known as ACORN will officially shut its doors. The group calling it quits after a series of scandals, including voter registration fraud and questionable behavior by ACORN workers. Though some of ACORN's critics think the reports of its death may be premature. Joining me now is the congressman who helped lead an investigation into ACORN's practices, California Republican Darrell Issa. He's the ranking member on the Government Reform Committee. All right, Congressman Issa, so let's get down to what we actually think is happening here. ACORN says that it's closing its political operations, not its housing unit, which is sort of the unit that was investigated by those 2 undercover, James O'Keefe and Hannah Giles. So that's going to remain open, even according to ACORN. But it says it's closing its political operations, meaning voter registration, I almost said fraud, voter registration efforts and so on. Do you believe it?
Well, they may be ceasing operations, but they've hoarded about $30 million of cash and building assets back to corporate, and Bertha Lewis is controlling those. More importantly, as somebody who used to have to chase accounts receivable when small companies would skip and run, these affiliates are not changing their tax ID. So no matter what their name is, they're still the same corporation. And it's almost like name changes, aliases for criminals, where they'll have 10 aliases. The fact is, it's still the same person. These are still the same organizations, in most cases, with the same board of directors.
Yeah, because the reports are that most of the 20 chapters of ACORN are now reorganizing under new names. So I don't know that they are closing up their political shop so much as just giving it a different name.
Well, exactly. And because the money was taken, these entities, these corporations are effectively getting their own money, opening their own accounts. They were always, many of them were separate corporations. So they're going to be affiliates less than wholly owned subsidiaries. But the structure is still the same. You have activists who have been doing a certain group of things, including defrauding the voters by registering and turning out non-existent or unqualified voters. People that have been taking money under false pretenses, taking advantage of the very people they claimed they were going to serve. So the bottom line is these organizations are not repenting or changing. They're simply changing how they appear to the public so they can do the public in again.
So how does the public stay abreast of this? I mean, it seems like, you know, ACORN has its reputation is tarnished. There's no question, given all the criminal investigations and guilty pleas that its workers have come out and made. So how does the public now know when they're dealing with ACORN, the new ACORN under the new name?
Well, we'll be happy to give Fox a link directly to our website, the point where we're tracking all the name changes and making sure that becomes public. And as we continue sending out letters to banks and other groups that in the past had given money and been misled, we're going to be using and showing these new names and saying, you know, make sure that you're different this time in your money giving, because it was obvious it wasn't just the federal government that was giving money to bad actors. It was all kinds of nonprofits and particularly banks that were sort of told, if you don't give us money, we'll tell you how bad you are. If you do give us money, we'll take care of the poor. But in fact, what they were taking care of with their board of directors and some very high-ranking people.
You know, ACORN came out and said, and this is a quote from its board, ACORN has faced a series of well-orchestrated, relentless, well-funded right-wing attacks. It is to that ACORN is attributing its problems and the latest move, saying it's basically been the target of a right-wing hit job. How do you respond, Congressman?
Well, I guess the vast right-wing conspiracy is back. Well, I can tell you that I don't belong to an organized party. I'm a Republican. And that clearly what we did in committee in researching this group, yes, we did it. And we're very proud of the 66-page report and an annex supplemental that came out that detailed criminal activities. But I certainly think when you think of O'Keefe's operation, it was a shoestring operation that went in place after place on a dime and discovered that in almost every place they were willing to participate in criminal activities. I don't see that as a vast right-wing conspiracy. I see it as a group that flagrantly ignored the law for a long time and got away with it. And it was backed all the way up to the White House by groups of people who were beholding.
I got to go, but I want to ask you quickly. A federal judge has now ordered that ACORN's federal funding be restored. Is that going to happen, Congressman? Quickly, I need a quick answer.
I'm afraid that the court's ruling will stand until we get due process, and this administration does not appear to be willing to do debarment or the other due process in order to cut off the funding.
We'll be watching it. Wade Rathke, who is the founder of ACORN, told me last year that he foresaw this, the political end, closing up shop. But in the meantime, that guy is opening up ACORN branches all over the